I think that female nature has not changed, not one little bit. I think that the environment has changed dramatically, and it's quite obvious if you look at social media. If you look at the ego that women's egos are completely inflated because of men. This is why do women think that they're better than they really are? Number one, their influence is like a Kim Kardashian. They want to be just like her. They're pretty much not all women, but you see a lot of women in society, especially on the internet, that are following Kim Kardashian's footsteps. They're trying to be just like her. They're just like clones of her. Women conform, uh, generally speaking. That's they conform. That's what they do. Like they will bow down to social pressures quicker than men will. In the past, their mothers and grandmothers held them accountable, so perhaps they wouldn't want um, degenerate things to come to the surface so their parent or grandparent is ashamed of them. Well, now you see it becoming more and more socially acceptable that women are over sexualizing themselves on the internet via Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, and it is completely oversaturated on here. When I go out, I don't. It's a rarity to see women wear dresses, and I can't really say much because I don't wear suits. But to be covered up, like they are showing like all the curves and just showing everybody. And yesterday is quite interesting at work. My inner circle at work, there was this picture they showed each other, and it was this really beautiful woman, um, really revealing clothes, and she was standing on top of a jeep. And they asked each other, which what type of vehicle is this? Is that a Bronco or a Jeep? And they, you know, gotta laugh at it. It was just a joke. Their eyes directed towards a woman first, and when they showed me, I looked at the Jeep and I said, "It's a Jeep." Like instantaneously, I didn't even really pay attention to the woman. And they looked at and they kind of looked at me weird. And I said, I find women covered up more attractive. Now, why is that? Why do you think I find women that are more covered up more attractive? That sounds like so weird, doesn't it? I've evolved to the point where a woman showing respect in herself is huge to me. Um, she don't need to flaunt everything to get people's validation, or like objectifying herself. It's a rarity. When it becomes a rarity, that becomes more special. I remember growing up, um, females that had the same pigmentation as me had flat butts. Teenagers. There was one girl that had a nice um, booty that had the same pigmentation as me in my whole school. It was rare. All the rest of them had flat butts, right? Now, since you see these, pretty much every female at the gym, they all have booties, right? They don't have really flat butts, and it sounds really weird, but since like the flat butt is becoming more rare, that's kind of like more attractive. Like me, I'm kind of more attracted to skinny girls. I don't want to. I'm not really into muscular, thick women. I used to be, but since it's rare to find a really skinny woman that's not on drugs, that's just naturally skinny, I find that attractive. And that's so weird. It's such a different change in my tastes. Um, I think it's because of the rarity of it. Um, Now I'm a weirdo, man. So like most guys probably listen to me talk about this stuff and they'll be like, "Dude, you're stupid, man. You're weird." But when there's a huge supply of something, it makes it less valuable. And then when there's a scarcity of something, wait, did I say that right? Yeah, when there's a huge supply of something, that makes it less valuable. When there's a less supply of something or scarcity, it makes it more valuable. I'm at the gym. I see females wearing sweatpants. They're covering themselves up. They're loose sweatpants. I'm like, man, that's attractive. I'm thinking to myself, what does she look like? You know, that's how it used to be. Now women just show it all, pretty much. And if you really wanted to, you could just like instead of dating them, just pay for their OnlyFans, and then you can see everything. So there's no point to even date them to get to that point. Um, yeah, that we're going into society. We are at that point of society where women are, and I think they're doing it more and more. That they're just revealing themselves to the world, and it's becoming socially acceptable. Mm. I think that I think that women would have always done this if they weren't looked down on by society in the past. They say that the oldest job out, the oldest career is the working woman in the streets. That's the oldest one. Now, why is that? It's always been there. So female nature has never changed. It's never changed. It hasn't changed. And this is why I don't think it's changed. When I was a teenager, I was really shy. Had a lot of anxiety. I wouldn't approach women. I wouldn't approach girls. Didn't know what to say to them. Highly nervous. So there's a big scarcity for me. Getting into an adult, I've had different relationships, but I use the internet as a crutch to meet women, and I didn't really approach them. I you know, I relied on. I don't know. It was just easier for me to make a date on the internet than meet them in person. Um, I don't know what to say. I don't. It's not just about what to say. It's like the energy you bring. You know, the confidence. When I go on the dates, I'd be confident, or whatever, and I did fairly well, like with women. Um, what I've realized this last few years when I've really been isolating myself and, you know, being kind of a loner. It's been like the last 4 years pretty much. Because I'm not content where I'm at. I want to move somewhere else. So I don't really want to develop deeper relationships with people because I'm going to be leaving anyway. Um, what I've noticed is women don't approach. They don't approach me. I've never had a woman approach me and ask me out. Never. Not in my entire life. Now maybe it's because I'm a hideous person. And maybe it's because I'm low value. I'm 5'11". I'm damn near 6 foot tall. I'm not obese. Maybe it's because I don't always have a smile on my face. Maybe I just don't look approachable. Maybe they're not attracted to me. But what I've noticed is most women, and it just happens, like some women do approach men and ask them out. But for the most part, women just don't. And that's female nature. They want guys to figure it out. They want us to figure it out if they like us or not. So we approach them. Um, Also, the whole thing with money, you see more women. We'll see what happens with the recession next year, but um, with companies having to get rid of useless workers, office workers, and we all know what jobs most of the opposite sex of me do. Um, they still want a man that makes as much as them or more. And they still put value on that. All the same time expressing feminism and all this garbage that they go with. I'm a woman of power, whatever. But if you're a woman of power, maybe you should be able to control your ego a little bit better around people who are around you and not care about what they think. Because the man doesn't make as much as you, or he works a real job, or whatever. Like, he doesn't make six figures, or he isn't tall. But women have so many choices because of guys putting themselves out there constantly that they have high standards. They think that they're better than they actually are. At the same time, they hide behind their makeup. So, because of insecurities. There is some strong women out here. Okay, I'm not going to say there isn't. What I'm talking about is general terms, general speakings of females. And they really haven't changed. What are they inventing? What amazing innovational things have they, if innovational is a word, what amazing things have they accomplished right now that are just better for mankind? And what did most of them revert back to is what trying to normalize is sex work. That's what a lot of them do. They're not out here becoming engineers and trying to solve climate change, trying to do what they can to work at SpaceX to try to use their infinite intelligence, right? Their infinite intelligence. Um, their high IQs and making products that really put us forward. Or how about a new system that everybody's taken care of if you're a human, your basic needs when it comes to healthcare and food and shelter, and a system that you can still get incentives for working hard. Where's that system? You know, where's the major accomplishments of women who have broken free of the chains and pretty much taken up the chains of corporations? They've broken the chains of a husband who will protect them and actually gives a fuck about them, and they traded that and family for corporation chains because they've been indoctrinated and they've bought into this lie. But yeah, I'm here to say that I don't see any change in female nature. And also, they're still predominantly cowards. You know, they will not make the first move, generally speaking. And they're all chasing like the top guys, and they don't realize that these guys have access to a bunch of different women and they won't settle down with them. Instead of maybe lowering their standards and maybe starting a family with a regular dude, which they're regular too, and maybe building a beautiful life and family with that person, they're going after shiny objects. And if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But what they don't realize is they're just being used. They're being used by the machine. They're being used by the dudes, and they're alone. And there's gonna be a lot of women that are older that are gonna be alone, and nobody's gonna care about them. We don't have the population to take care of the older generation coming forward. And you're going to see a lot of older people left to fend for themselves. I'm not going to be able to do it. If you're an old person and you're still into material things, we need material things to for like tools to work with. We need shelter. We need heat. But if you're into shiny things and you're an old person, like you're into name brands and showing things off, you have you have not matured at all. Because when you get to be older, you realize that what really matters is relationships with other humans. When you're by yourself and you got all these handbags or if you're a dude and you have all this money and you're like Scrooge and you're just by yourself and you're this big house and it's nice, but you have no one to share it with and nobody cares about you, you're going to feel it and there's not going to be anything you can do about it. Because for a man could find a man can stay in his prime longer than a woman. somebody can find him valuable when he's older. When you're a 60-year-old woman, 70, pushing 70, your looks have completely deteriorated. You could be in your 40s and present yourself as a 20s, high 20s or whatever, and put all this extra stuff on, but if you take all that stuff off, it depends on and how much you take care of yourself. But a lot of females drink a lot of alcohol nowadays. They party it up, aging them very quickly. And the problem is a lot of females put so much emphasis on their looks, not developing anything else when it comes to personality. When the looks fade, what do you have to offer? What do you have to offer? You know, when I'm attracted to a woman, yes, I like what initially attracts me is her looks because I like to look at her. Okay? But just because somebody is good looking, if they're a shitty person, or I find out they smoke cigarettes or do drugs, or they want to act like they want to be my girl, but they want to act like they're single. Okay, I'm not taking you serious. Um, and that makes me look at them like, because you can only sex is a part of you bonding with somebody, but it's such a small part of the relationship. It really is. I mean, at first it's huge, but it's like as the relationship goes on, it doesn't become as important as it was at the first. It's like a lot of women want to hold on to this honeymoon phase. That's what they want, the honeymoon phase. And the problem with that is it doesn't last long. If you find somebody that really gives a damn about you and they're going to be there for you for your whole life and you're going to give that up because of how you feel in the moment, you might want to evaluate your priorities. You know, you might feel more alive in that moment of that Chad or that bull, that new bull. But when he goes away and don't give a damn about you anymore and moves on to the next female, you're just gonna be left alone. And it's gonna be hard for you to find somebody to replace that man. And if you try to go back to that man, he's not gonna look at you the same. Like if any of my ex girlfriends try to come back to me, I would never look at them the same that I looked at them initially. I would always be looking at them with probably disgust if I allowed them to come back and some type of monogamous relationship with me. Because I would think other dudes have been with them. Like, guys don't want to think about other dudes with their woman. And that's why guys make such a big deal about body counts. if you're a man and you found like your dream woman, and then all of a sudden somebody showed you a video of her on the internet with another man intimately, that's gonna make you that's gonna make you look down on her. And that's just the way it is with men. Sorry, it is the way it is. It's not gonna change. You know, I can accept a female and be in a monogamous relationship, and for me to look at women, anyone from 18 to my age, even into their lower 50s, I'll give look into a monogamous relationship because I don't want no more kids, man. I don't want that shit no more. So I don't want to waste anybody's time. So I'm fine with dating somebody my age. Like I don't care about starting a family. These red pill guys. Oh, you gotta find. Yeah, they do. They are younger. They are better looking. They're whatever. But I'm not trying to start a family, so I don't care. I already had my kids. I don't want to do it again. Um, but if you're an older woman, it's going to be harder to find somebody that wants to be monogamous with just you. It's easier for a younger woman to pull that off. Temptation is a huge thing. And looking ahead instead of just like living in the moment. Of course, you want to enjoy right now. And but in life we have to sacrifice. If you choose to give up that reliable man, instead of communicating to him like, hey, how about we do this? Hey, how about we do that? Hey, I would love to see you do this. Hey, let's do this. This is what I like. And then him getting the motivation to, you know, become the best version of himself or whatever, to try to make himself better. If he's not making himself better, he just content in the relationship, mailing it every day, and you're not communicating, hey, listen, this is what I would like to see changed. You have to tell your partner that. Just like if you're a dude and your woman is starting to get overweight, you should be able to tell them like, listen, this is how it is. I appreciate you more. I find you more. I like you better when you're like looking like this. And if the feelings are hurt, that sucks, man. But at least you tried and told that person. There's ways you can go about it. Oh, you look really good, running a marathon or something like that. But it's communication. You could trade in and get that Ferrari that's fun in the summer, but in the winter comes, it's gone, and then now you have nothing. You can't drive around your Ferrari in the fucking winter. There's snow everywhere. Now you're stuck. Yeah. There's no guarantee that tomorrow comes for anybody. But if we didn't live like there was going to be a tomorrow and plan for tomorrow, then everything would be chaotic. There'd be no civilization. You have to you have to live for now, but you have to plan for tomorrow. You have to plan that you're going to be here tomorrow. Because if you're here tomorrow and you're only living for today, your future self is going to be in a desolate, worse position than you are today.